And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, being that consumer advocate for you here in Tampa Bay, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it, 813-917-1894. Give us a call on the hotline, 813-917-1894. You used to call me on my cell phone. And thank you so much for all those that do support the show. You call in, you text in with your questions, you text in to refinance your properties with our mortgage lending partners, you text in and call in to list your properties with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, and you support all of our 80 different categories, 50-plus show partners now with the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Online at consumerqb.com. We're going to talk to Brandon Faust here in just a moment. Mold Solutions USA, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about some of the challenges in the insurance industry also with Brandon. Before we do, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. We do have a co-listing with an out-of-state Bill DeVore team, Keller Williams team, 530 Heaton Forest Road. This is a $9 million listing of ours in working with Bill DeVore's Keller Williams Real Estate Group up in North Carolina. 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina, 8,000 square feet, 19.69 acre property, and it's in the western part of North Carolina, in the mountains of Western Carolina, that is. And beautiful property. You got 4 fireplaces for those cool mountain evenings and expansive stone driveways. You got equestrian set up as well with some barns and horse stalls. Guest house, 3 bedrooms and a sitting room. And we've separated the properties now. $3 million for the small house, the cottage, and it's $6 million for the big house. 530 Heaton Forest Road, Cashiers, North Carolina. Compliments of the Bill DeVore Real Estate Group, Keller Williams Realty in North Carolina. 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. Got $1 million listing here from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. This property is a gorgeous 2-story home. You got a spiral staircase, you got a private elevator, granite countertops, pool, heated spa, and more. Over 5,000 square feet, executive style home at the Estates at White Trout Lake. Gated community, beautiful property at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. This is God's country. All right, giving a quick shout out to the Bilmar Beach Resort as well, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. That's the beautiful Bilmar Beach Resort on Treasure Island. And Clyde Smith, the general manager, longtime friend of the program as well. And he has a beautiful resort right on the beach. Beautiful property. Check them out online. Bilmar Beach Resort. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, Brandon Faust in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Fantastic to be here as always. Good to see you.
Likewise. So let's jump right into it. So the insurance industry has been under attack for multiple reasons in Florida. You have the fraudulent activities that were going on through some of the roofing companies, and then of course the attorneys are quick to hey, if you don't pay the claim, we're going to file suit, and then all of a sudden now you got these exorbitant fees, these attorneys' fees thrown in the mix, and so the state legislature had to jump in and get together and came up with some solutions there. But also, I imagine with mold that there's some issues happening with mold and affecting the insurance claims there as well when you do have mold in your home.
No doubt about it. I mean, that's one of the things that a couple years back the law in regards to the assignment of benefits changed.
Yep.
So the different companies that I've owned, we really have never gone in that direction in terms of the assignment of benefits, just because there are some unethical activities that can take place, and it can be misused or abused. But it is one of these things that you really have to watch out for, because mold, it does get covered by most insurance companies here in Florida, but they do put a cap on it. They don't allow you to kind of get out of control in terms of the expense. And in some ways that's good, but sometimes it may not be good because it might be an extensive problem. But usually if it gets that extensive, they probably missed something that they should have seen ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
So there's a cap. Usually they have like a $10,000 cap on a mold remediation project.
Is that in most policies, you mean?
Yeah.
Like the insurance policies?
Yeah, and of course I'm not necessarily an insurance expert in terms of interpreting policy, but obviously I've worked with a lot of the insurance companies, and we do work with pretty much every single carrier in terms of doing the billing and working with them if there is an actual claim
Right.
that is a valid and legitimate claim.
Right.
So the things that will determine that is most of the times you're looking for an event, something that like a pipe that breaks,
Yep.
or a roof that has been leaking or something along those lines, and that
Yep.
will get covered by insurance. But there are things that don't get covered by insurance, in a lot of cases. For example, let's say you have a slab and there's seepage, and it's been coming up from hydrostatic pressure, where you get water kind of being pushed up.
Like rainwater.
Yeah.
And that's why we always recommend also veteran gutters. Get the gutters on the home. Get that water flow away from the foundation.
Completely, because if that water's coming close to the house and it's being pushed down in one form or fashion or another, you can now have it coming up through that concrete,
Yeah.
where it's basically through almost like a capillary action being pulled up. And if you have wood floors, you're going to have a mold problem without a doubt. And sometimes you can have different layers, and you think that there's protection occurring, and you're just getting mold underneath the plastic and different ways that water and moisture is actually getting trapped.
Yeah.
So insurance isn't going to cover that type of situation where there's seepage, where they're not going to cover humidity-driven mold bloom, which we see a lot in Florida, where let's say you have somebody that's a snowbird, or they've been out of town for a while and they didn't set their AC correctly,
Yep.
or their AC goes out unexpectedly and they've been gone for 2 or 3 weeks. And if you have humidity over 60% for an extended period of time, there's a very high chance that you're going to walk into a mold bloom,
Yeah.
where you have mold on the furniture, on the appliances, on the walls, pretty much on everything. And that's a very pricey situation when you run into that type of thing. And unfortunately, most of the times it is not going to be covered by insurance.
Right.
It's a humidity driven problem.
They look at it like, hey, this is something that you should have prevented by having your air conditioning unit running and operating. And I always say, if you're going out of town or you're going on a vacation or even out of state for a couple of months, at least leave the air conditioning unit set to like 77, sometimes 78.
Right.
It's not going to cost you a lot of money on an AC bill, but you're still going to have the humidity. What's the part of the AC unit? That's the humidity factor, right? You're going to keep that factor down.
Absolutely. The relative humidity is going to
Right.
basically be addressed. And the main thing that you're looking at is it, like you said, at 78, maybe even, 77, 78, 79, it's going to do its job. It's going to kick on at least once a day.
Yeah.
And what occurs by doing that, obviously you have the condensation coils in the AC unit that are getting cold, and they're attracting water to the coils, and then it's going to drain out. So it's actually, the AC has two functions. One is to climatize the air, the other is to pull water out of the air.
Nice.
So you want that kicking on at least once a day, so it dries out your home enough that you're not going to have mold forming.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that people are trying to save money by potentially setting their AC at like 82,
Right.
and it ends up costing them a lot of money in the long run, a lot more money.
Absolutely.
Because you have a humidity bloom. So that's one of the things. The other thing that you can get mold from a flood, of course. We saw that with the tropical storm, I think a year ago, where it just sat, down near the Gulf, and it was that tide water was really high already,
Yep.
and we had so many homes that had standing water, a foot, 2 feet up in some cases. And of course, when that happens, if it doesn't get dried out fast enough,
Yep.
right, you're going to have mold behind the baseboards, you're going to have mold behind the drywall. So it's also really important that you, number one, either professionally get it dried out, by somebody that really knows what they're doing, or, potentially you're going to have to open up those walls to make sure that you don't have, mold forming behind the walls.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to Brandon Faust here. He's the owner of Mold Solutions USA right here in Tampa Bay. Again, another local area business owner supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show here on Salem Media Group. And we had a friend that had a situation where her kids were getting sick, she was getting sick, and she was missing work a lot. And we said, look, that you might want to have your home checked, because I've obviously been interviewing with you over the years. And lo and behold, mold in the home. Landlord didn't want to do anything about it. He said, fine, you can move out, but he was just so resistant to repairing, at least from what I've heard kind of secondhand. But it's a challenge when you have your landlord now that's in control of the home that you actually live in. So she ended up having to move to another part of the state and, change jobs and all kinds of stuff.
And that's an unfortunate situation because, truthfully, the landlord or the owner of the home should have not just a care factor for the person that's living in the home,
right,
but even from a economical standpoint, from their own property or their own valuable asset, their home. If they have a mold problem, it doesn't usually get better by itself.
Right.
Mold can go dormant just like anything else. It's a living, breathing organism. But if it gets enough water, it's going to start growing again. And then at that point in time, it's going to start absorbing material. It's going to start spreading throughout the home. And then it also becomes very difficult to sell because legally, you are supposed to actually make that known. You can't withhold the fact that there was a mold problem or even a water problem or something along those lines. Obviously, you, as a real estate agent, you know that. That's one of the things that you actually have to declare. Has there been a water issue in this home? Has there been a mold problem in this home? And was it handled by professionals that are actually certified in the industry that know what they're doing to make sure that this place is safe and healthy and you're not turning over a property that can actually be toxic and really make a family sick?
Now, what kind of recourse, I wonder, getting outside the law, not going into the law category here, but would that person, that tenant say, to the landlord, if the landlord's not going to do anything, have you ran into that before? Like where people, should they call the county, health inspector or something along those lines?
Of course there is the county that they can call for sure, but ultimately, even me as a mold professional, I cannot go into the home and say this is mold. That's basically my opinion. The only person that's legally allowed to say that it's mold is actually the laboratory, like a third-party independent laboratory. It's the only one that's really able to do that. And with that information, yes, you can now make a declaration, hey, look, we have mold, it needs to be handled. But in many cases, the property owner is protected because they usually have a mold clause where it says, look, if mold is detected, you have 7 days to vacate the property for your own health and safety.
Right.
So it can actually work against the person living in the home to then get that test done because now they have to move within 7 days.
And that's expensive to find, the moving costs and then to find something. And then, if you did want to move back, it's a long, tedious process. Yeah,
so I've seen that happen. I've also seen some really good landlords out there that go, what, if there's a problem, let me know. We're going to take responsibility for it. And, they figure something out with the tenant to make sure that they also are taken care of, whether they have to stay in a hotel during the remediation process or, whatever it may be. So there's just like anything. There's good landlords and landlords that may be not so ethical or moral, you know?
Yeah.
And there's also tenants that are trying to take advantage of a situation. And I've seen that too, where they're trying to get, a mold test done and there's really not mold there, but they're trying to get out of their lease.
Yeah.
So it's always, you can see things from two different sides or multiple sides.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things. But realistically, I think the most important thing is just doing what's right, and you can, obviously, most people can tell what's right and what's wrong.
It comes down to the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
You learned it in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Doing to others as you'd have them doing to you. And too many people just don't do it today.
Yeah.
We got to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Brandon Faust here, Mold Solutions USA on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, coming up, Shane Socash, owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to take a quick break. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook as well. And you can download our podcast from iTunes and Spotify. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel. A lot of great content there. We just did a pretty cool video walkthrough tour with Thomas King over at Florida Firearms Academy. That video got a couple thousand views already, so check it out online. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a consumer quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. Any of our listeners out there, we'll offer you a 2% listing for the first 3 callers that reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text the hotline, 813-917-1894. Also, a great opportunity for folks out there looking for a part-time gig, maybe a side hustle, is Keller Williams Real Estate School, powered by Kaplan. Reach out if you'd like more information on how we have a free real estate school for you, online class, get licensed, and start referring business in, or maybe make a new career. 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com for our syndicated radio and TV show on 80 outlets worldwide, consumerqb.com, or our real estate website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And please follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Make it a great day. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Certified negotiation expert, 3-time published author, and a top 100 real estate team here in Tampa Bay, 1605 South Georgia Avenue in Tampa. This is a beautiful South Tampa property, gorgeous home available in Hyde Park, close to Palmacia. You could walk over to Bayshore. A lot of people like to jog and bike over to Bayshore and enjoy that South Tampa living. 1605 South Georgia Avenue is a beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Almost 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, move-in ready. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. Also 4220 West Pearl Avenue, commercial property in South Tampa. Corner lot location, 1,200 square foot building, and it's a great location for a business. If you're looking to relocate your business, you've got plenty of room to park your vehicles, your trailers, your trucks. Mixed use, it's 0.6 acre lot. Corner lot location at 4220 West Pearl Avenue in Tampa. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we're in studio here with Brandon Faust. He's the owner of Mold Solutions USA right here in Tampa Bay, longtime friend of the program. We talk about these different factors, different things that are affecting people from a consumer advocate standpoint, Brandon. And what else are you seeing out there? What, from a consumer advocate standpoint, a lot of times people don't know what they don't know, and we try to help them understand those areas.
Well, I think that, like you're saying, they don't know what they don't know, right? So one of the first things I would be asking is, how do I know if I actually have a mold problem? Because there's different types of situations. And, I've had some inspectors, for example, they'll go into a home and they'll look up and they'll see, mold on the vents and on the ducts, and they go, oh, that's not a problem. That's because they're so used to working for the insurance company where they're just seeing mold that's been caused by a water intrusion event, and if insurance is not going to cover it, then it's not a problem. When in actual fact, the type of impact that mold, it's cladosporium, usually on the vents and in the ducts and in the AC unit, it does release a toxin, and it can bring about headaches, joint aches, respiratory issues, rashes, all kinds of things that really are not beneficial and can take away from a person's overall physical well-being and mental well-being. And you have to take into consideration those factors in terms of how much it's setting you, your family, your kids back, where if they didn't live in a moldy environment, how much more would they be getting done? How much more would they be able to concentrate? How much are they spending on the doctors? So these various effects that you're not calculating. But the question is, how do I know if I even have a mold problem? If you have a professional, you're like, that's not really a big issue.
Right.
And the main thing is you have to, there's the mold that you can see and can smell, and that's pretty clear and obvious. There's mold that you can just see, but it doesn't put off a smell. And a lot of people think that, if it doesn't smell, then there's not a mold problem. And I definitely have been in homes where that is not the case. There's a definite mold problem, but you're not smelling anything at that point in time because it's not particularly off-gassing. It's not releasing a MVOC is what it's called, a microbial volatile organic compound.
Right.
So and then there's mold that's hidden and you're not seeing it and you're not smelling it, but the toxins are impacting you. So really, I think the best way to determine it is if you are suspect, you have physical issues that you're not really able to figure out what's causing it, I would definitely look to mold as one of the things. And obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I've dealt with a lot of the various doctors in the area that send me a lot of their patients, because they are trying to address some issue that's not resulting in an actual change. They're not, getting better. So it's like, okay, what in the environment is potentially causing a setback or preventing us from actually moving forward? And a lot of times it is environmental. It's, microbial in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. And you look at the inventory out there too. There's not many options in terms of inventory. Now, the market is kind of loosening up, softening up a little bit as far as that goes. So there's more options for buyers. But sometimes people were rushing into home, into purchase contracts, ignoring the home inspections or buying sight unseen. So that may have led to some, of these properties that kind of slipping through the cracks as far as not getting the proper screenings. But all in all, Florida's in a great place. We were in the middle of an election cycle right now, and I wanted to play a quick clip here about DeSantis and what he's doing for schools now, because I guess there's some type of a hiring need in the state of Florida for school teachers, along with a lot of other things like nurses and some other professions. Of course, a lot of the trades as well. We've talked about that before with plumbers, electricians, and folks that can kind of work with their hand, the blue collar, for muscular class, I like to call it. Quick clip here from DeSantis.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has announced a set of new initiatives to address his state's shortage of teachers in the public school systems. The recruitment efforts look to expand the ranks in classrooms with teachers from non-traditional backgrounds, but it's drawn some ire.
The governor is recruiting retired police, firefighters, veterans, and first responders into education by waiving fees and some other requirements.
I think that's such a no-brainer, right? Let's bring these guys in. Let's bring these folks in that have, already had a career, and they're just, it's kind of maybe at home. You know how it is. A lot of times I hear from these folks that have retired. They're like, hey, I miss being involved. I miss being in the community. So police, firefighters, first responders, veterans, let's get them in there. Have them teach our kids, man.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that, really, if you look at it, because it is such a need in terms of people that really care.
Right.
And I think that if you look at kind of one of the key aspects of each of those professions, it's people that really do care, firefighters, police officers, and obviously, every group has maybe a small group that are not great, but overall, guys are putting their lives on the line because they care about other people.
And they're disciplined.
And they're wise in most cases. They've been through a lot and they've seen a lot. So, hey, that's the type of person I wouldn't mind having kind of teaching my kids. That's for sure.
And they're going to be a lot less prone to those woke methodologies and the grooming that you see in a lot of cases where especially if it's that liberal that went to school in the Northeast, for example, or maybe in California, or coming back to Florida now to teach. They're going to have those ingrained in them, the critical theory led by Marxists.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And there's a lot of that type of infiltration that's taking place that we need to make sure, don't bring your politics here if you're coming from those other other areas, right?
Exactly. All right, Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions USA online. Check him out online. He's got a great social media handle out there at Mold Solutions USA.
Mold Solutions USA, pretty much across the board.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, taking a quick break. Coming back with Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. Going to talk about alternative investment opportunities with Shane Socash here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back. Plus our feel-good story of the day. Heroic Uber driver stops mid-ride to rescue people from burning building. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. Welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. We'd like to help you as a consumer advocate. We search all these different areas of local businesses and experts that come on the show, and they appear and they help you understand your buying decisions, make you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Save our hotline number, give us a call, or hit the website consumerqb.com. And we like to feature our real estate listings live on air here in Tampa Bay. 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. We've got a commercial property for sale. It's corner lot location, 50,000 vehicles a day passing by, and it's a beautiful property. It's got an office space available, so if you have a business with the office space under air, perfect location for you. And also in the back, you've got more of a mechanic style setup, where if you had any type of a mechanic shop back there or storage, be a great opportunity for you. 6361 US Highway 301 South in Riverview. Great opportunity right on 301, and you're literally like a mile or two from I-75. So hot listing there, commercial property, $1.699 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And Nick, you got any other vacant land? You got some of our vacant land listings there that we could throw up? I always like to throw up some of our vacant land listings, and I play this clip here.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
You can buy some dirt. Do we have any vacant land over there, properties? I know we've got some. Got to get 9221 New York Avenue back on. Just came back on the market. That's 30 acres that we've got up in Hudson area. Beautiful property. Prime development opportunity. It's an industrial lot as well. All right, so let's go to the phone lines here. We got Shane Socash, owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Brandon. Nice to be back.
Awesome. Yes, thanks for coming in. So we were kind of talking pregame here and talking about lab-grown diamonds. I didn't even know that was a thing.
So, somewhere back in the early 70s, GE kind of developed the technology to create lab-grown diamonds. It's actually diamond, physically and chemically the same, carbon and structurally the same, but grown in a laboratory. And over the course of the last 10 years, the manufacturers have gotten really good at producing it. And, the technology has migrated to China as things do, and they're producing it on enormous, epic levels. And now they've really got the hang of marketing it. And I will tell you, owning a jewelry store, about 40 to 50% of every young couple that comes in looking to get engaged is asking for a lab-grown diamond.
Wow.
They've done a really good job of marketing it as an eco-friendly alternative to diamond. And, I don't know if that's the case, like if all this mass production in China is truly more eco-friendly than, the diamonds coming out of the ground, whether it be Canada or Russia, probably not Russia right now, but these types of things.
Africa, right?
Well, so, the majority of diamonds aren't coming from Africa. The majority of these days, prior to the Ukraine situation, would have been Canada is a big producer, Russia is a big producer, Australia is a producer, and some amounts still come from Africa through the Kimberley process. But yeah, and that's another thing is, diamonds associated with Africa, even if they aren't blood diamonds, have the stigma attached to them. So young consumers have really bought into the idea of this like blood-free, eco-friendly kind of spin, and it's changing the market to a certain extent. And we're here to provide what the client wants. So I'm not anti lab-grown diamond. We sell them. But I think it's interesting for the public to know that this exists.
Yeah, I think it is too. It's really cool. It's very interesting, and you kind of read my mind as you were talking there, because I was thinking about that movie that came out years back. It was about blood diamonds, and that was kind of the talk of the time. Almost with this politically correct type stuff that happened over the last 10 years or so, 10, 15 years maybe, with the PC type crowd. Oh, well, you're buying diamonds and you're supporting these these nefarious actions that happen, I guess, in the process of digging them up and bringing them to America.
Sure. So much of that is, like I said, people don't realize how many diamonds were coming from Canada, pre-Ukraine, Russia, and Australia. So it's like, it's hard to have a blood diamond from Canada.
Right.
But so the number one takeaway, because I buy and sell, my store, we both sell diamonds and buy diamonds. The one thing that, I would caution, and I caution every single person who buys a lab-grown diamond from me, this is going to be valueless in 5 to 10 years. And there's a reason. It's because mass production. Production is just, in 5 years, I bet production has ramped up 100 times. And so now it is just driving the price, even on the retail end, it's driving the price of lab-grown diamonds down. So you can imagine 10 years from now, the impact that's going to have, So it's just something to keep in mind. And without fail, every single client that I say that to says, well, I'm not intending to ever sell it. And it's like, well, I have a whole business model based on buying things that people never intended to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're talking with Shane Socash here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin right here in Pinellas County, Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. And Shane, we look at, what the federal government's done. I've heard it said up to 40% of the current U.S. dollars in circulation are brand new printed dollars. And, the Federal Reserve is they're out of hand, in my opinion. They're doing a lot of things they shouldn't be doing. I want to play a quick clip here on inflation and how this new bill is affecting America.
How much will the American taxpayer feel the heat of this bill?
So that's really hard to tell. Ultimately, as the larger economic point, more government spending, that's got to come from somewhere. It's either taken from you in higher taxes, which there's some tax increases in here, as we've already said. It's going to come out of, debt payments in the future. This is spending money that we don't have. This isn't surplus that's being spent on these renewables. It's borrowed money. But then also the tax comes in inflation too. That's part of how the government makes up for overspending, is that inflation is a tax on the population. It's another way of tax.
Yeah, so we're getting taxed. You see this eco-friendly type bill that's supposedly an Inflation Reduction Act, and then the next thing you know, Ford's laying off people, Amazon's paying people to quit, and the economy's heading in 75 to 85% of people say the wrong direction. So it causes issues with people in the economy, Shane.
It does, yeah. That's a big part of what the bullion end of my business does, is supplying gold and silver, as a percentage of your net worth, that's kind of hopefully somewhat insulated from that.
Right. So you have gold, silver, platinum, other precious metals that folks can come in and purchase as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Whether it's, a single ounce of silver for, we have people that come in once a week and buy an ounce of silver and have been for years, and that's kind of their little slush fund. To, we had a couple, I would say within the last 6 months, we had a couple $100,000 purchases. So.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So we're on your website. We're looking at this graph here. It shows gold, silver, platinum, and palladium price, and it looks like it's kind of updated, pretty current. Is this pretty current?
We try to keep it current.
Yeah.
I haven't looked in a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's operating properly.
Yeah. I mean, it's got the green, you got the red there. You know, what's interesting when you look at that gold, looks like it's, it goes up and it comes down, and it kind of's got the little peaks and valleys. Palladium as well as platinum, but silver seems to be pretty straight across with a little bit of, ups and downs, the hills.
Historically, people feel that the gap between silver and gold is too far right now. I hear so much feedback about that, is that if you look over time, silver historically was closer to gold. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my clientele feel that there's a correction coming someday, that silver will jump up. Like right now, they typically somewhat parallel each other. Mm-hmm. But they feel there's a correction where silver is going to jump up closer to gold. I personally don't, I don't get into that. I'm here to supply the merchandise, but that is a reoccurring theme, that I've heard over and over and over the course of the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, and you got a lot of offerings there as well, as far as products: jewelry, diamonds, gemstone, watches, coins, paper money, coin collecting, supplies, and of course we talked about the metals, and then services: jewelry repair, jewelry design, restoration, pearl and bead stringing, watch repair, watch batteries, eyeglass repair, appraisals. That's a big part of your business too.
Big part, yeah.
Yeah, putting a value on things. That's such an important part. We see that in the real estate business, but I imagine, in your business as well.
Yeah, we do that a lot for attorneys on estates, where we'll make a bid on an estate, fair market value appraisals, essentially. And, they can get appraisals elsewhere, but we're one of the places that actually, our appraisal is what we'll offer. So, when it's time to settle out, it's like you come and we write you a check, not like just an appraiser who doesn't actually buy the merchandise.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And you've got the gemstone identification, gold, platinum, and silver buyers, and estate buyers as well.
We do all of that, yeah. 3 graduate gemologists. We were talking about lab-grown diamonds. We have the equipment to differentiate because, of course, you can imagine that would be a problem. For the most part, lab-grown diamonds are labeled as such, but occasionally, from time to time, either through mistake or nefarious action, the identification can be removed from a lab-grown diamond, and then it becomes very difficult to distinguish without sending off to a lab. And we do have the equipment to distinguish between lab-grown and natural diamonds.
All right. Good stuff. Well, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back more with Shane Socash here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, another one of our expert contributors on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And our feel-good story of the day, we got a good one here. A heroic Uber driver stops mid-ride to rescue people from a burning building. Find out about that hero in our feel-good story of the day. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full-body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid-region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Every day we'd like to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is our heroic Uber driver. He stops mid-ride to rescue people from a burning building, and Uber driver is being hailed as a hero after he stopped mid-ride to rush into a burning brownstone in New York City to help rescue people before firefighters arrived. Fritz Sam, 54, was taking a passenger to New York's LaGuardia Airport on Wednesday when he noticed a commotion on the street in Brooklyn's Bed-Stuy neighborhood. That's when he noticed the flames and dark smoke coming out of a second-floor window of a brownstone. He says, quote, "I asked my passenger, can I pull over?" Sam said. Maybe we can get help. Maybe we can help them. So we got out of the car and ran over there. Sam ran into the building looking for anybody that needed help getting out of the building and helped them get safely to the sidewalk. Sam's passenger, Jeremiah, said that Sam asked if he smelled like smoke when he got back into the car. The passenger said back, "Dude, seriously, it's fine. You just saved a life." So, feel good story of the day. I like that one. That's a good one there. And I also want to give a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. If you're looking for a way to feel energized, hydrated, and replenished, reach out to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. It's a safe and effective way to restore your body's crucial systems with vitamins and nutrients, enabling your body to perform at optimal conditions. They've got multiple Bay Area locations here in Tampa Bay, and it seems like everybody's concerned with their immunity these days. Check them out online, replenishivsolutions.com. replenishivsolutions.com. All right, back on the phone lines here, we've got Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin, and having an interesting conversation. Shane, you know, I was listening to one of my other podcasts. I listened to Steve Bannon's War Room, and he was talking about he had one of his European correspondents on, and they were talking about 18% inflation expected for Europe next year, middle of next year, 18%. We're sitting here at 9.1, supposedly. I don't think a lot of people even, kind of trust what the government says as far as their statistics now, especially the way they navigated the pandemic and the CDC and the NIH and all that kind of stuff. But, if inflation continues to rise like it is, it seems like you're going to be getting busier and busier, my friend.
It's already happening. There's stories out there about like the reversal of the Rolex watches, the reduction in value of them. We had a really hard time there for a while getting Rolexes in the store, and now our cases are full again. So it's, I think that's a good indicator. Discretionary income dries up, and those types of things, the luxury purchases are the first thing to go.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, boats as well, jet skis, dirt bikes. I feel like those are going to be coming down in price also because people
RVs.
are. Yeah. What was it? RVs. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. So I'm seeing it, in what I do for a living. It's like I said, we were clamoring. We saw stimulus checks came out. We sold every single Rolex we had, and couldn't replenish them. No one was selling, and now it's kind of reversed, and we have a beautiful selection of Rolexes to choose from.
Wow, so that's interesting. So Rolexes are coming back in. People are selling them, saying, "Well, I got to buy groceries and gas," versus having this nice wristwatch.
Yeah, I don't always get the full story from the client, but I think the general snapshot might indicate that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are struggling. I mean, producer Nick pulled up some different household debt, credit card developments as of Q2 2022, mortgage debt, home equity line of credit, student debt, auto debt, credit card debt, they're all up and they're up significantly. Credit card debt is up significantly as well, plus 46 billion, and that's as of Q2 2022, and then year to date was up 100 billion as a total annual change, over 100 billion change in credit card debt. So people are charging more on their credit cards just to be able to meet those same expectations, live the same quality of life, and buy the same food from their local Publix.
I bet. Yeah, I could see that being the case.
Yeah, it's a challenge for a lot of people, man. Tough times in this Biden economy, we'll call it here, and post-pandemic economy. But yeah, it's a challenging time. Talk about your location, Shane. People can come over and visit with you in person. You can buy, sell, or trade there too.
Yeah, all the above. We've been on Central Avenue, on the corner of Central Avenue and 40th Street in St. Pete since 1981, and even further back, if you go downtown, we've been on Central Avenue since 1971. So. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Some really good stuff there. Appreciate you calling in, joining us. They can find you online. What's the website?
David Reynolds, jewelryandcoin.com.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you.
Always great talking.
Take care, man.
Bye.
All right, Shane Socash, David Reynolds, Jewelry and Coin, Brandon Faust as well, Mold Solutions USA. I want to play a clip here and just kind of comment a little bit about what's happening in the Michigan case. I thought this was very interesting. You see the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago, President Trump filing his countersuit, and now you also have this. I think it's an entrapment case with Governor Whitmer up in Michigan. But here's a clip that I'm going to play from the Daily Wire.
The jury heard the breakdown of the case into its simplest terms. Prosecutors said Croft and Fox had a plan and desire to kidnap the governor and put her on trial for treason or just summarily execute her. Croft and Fox attended tactical trainings, tested explosives, and Fox took part in 2 trips to survey the governor's cottage near Elk Rapids, Michigan. Prosecutors said that the FBI, over the course of a 7-month investigation in 2020, uncovered a dangerous conspiracy that threatened extreme violence on the governor. And the masterminds behind that conspiracy are Barry Croft and Adam Fox. The defendants obviously see the events of 2020 very differently. Croft's and Fox's attorneys say that the FBI spent 7 months entrapping their clients into a scheme that they had no means and no real desire to carry out. To be sure, Fox and Croft said vulgar and often violent things about the governor, but Fox's attorney dismissed it as tough talk. Croft's attorney said of his client that he's often described as a, quote, stoner kind of whack nut, who regularly makes outlandish statements.
I thought that was interesting. Stoner kind of whack nut. But yeah, it basically looks like it's an entrapment case flowing out. I wish we had Jason Coble on that could comment on that. Attorney Jason Coble, friend of the program here. But yeah, it just seems like more and more you got weaponizing of these alphabet agencies against who. Yep, that's right. That's the conservatives, the middle class, and the small business owners or people that are in power that are political leaders. So you got because they know that their policies are losing policies. I mean, just look at what's going on in the country right now. Everything from an open southern border, teen suicide. This just hit really close to home with a teen suicide over in Eastlake, at where one of my daughter's, kind of friends or people that were in her school. So you got the lockdowns, going on, through the bureaucratic situation that happened with the pandemic, and then you've got teen suicide, fentanyl coming across the southern border, crime. Look at crime in all these different cities. Look at how high the crime is, and then you've got these DAs, these district attorneys that are not pressing charges. I mean, it's just blatant situations where you have that happen, and it's like, how much can we take? How much can we continue to take here? But luckily we have I think it's 86 days or so till 85 days until the midterms, and see what happens there. And then you got Mayorkas talking about the border being secure.
So far with President Biden, July encounters average well over 110,700, double what Trump experienced and triple what Obama experienced. And it's not just July either. Since Biden took office, monthly encounters have all been in the triple digits, which is completely unprecedented.
Yeah, it is. What has the Biden administration made of these numbers?
It's interesting. The head of the Department of Homeland Security doesn't appear to be concerned. Here's Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas.
The border is secure. We are working to make the border more secure. That has been a historic challenge.
Just blatant lies. It's just blatant lies. The border is secure. We see the videos. We see the drone videos. We see all the different people going to the southern border. We see what's happening. We bring John Long on from the U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking on the program. He talks about it from a human trafficking standpoint, and he's a local nonprofit here in Tampa Bay. So, yeah, a lot of challenges, but weaponizing the alphabet agencies really, to me, takes the cake. So, hey, another great show. I want to thank Brandon Faust, Mold Solutions USA. I want to thank Shane Socash as well, David Reynolds, Jewelry and Coin. I want to thank our producers, all the folks behind the scenes, you supporting this show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless. Appreciate you supporting the program. Reach out to the hotline. We'd love to connect. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.